Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Report: Miami Heat received decent offer from Memphis Grizzlies for Jimmy Butler. In light of the Denver Nuggets' move to fire head coach Michael Malone on Tuesday, Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald reported that the Nuggets didn't pursue star forward Jimmy Butler before the February trade deadline. However, the Memphis Grizzlies, who also fired their head coach in stunning fashion recently, did pursue Butler, according to Jackson. One ex-user asked Jackson if he could give some details as to the specifics of the Grizzlies' offer to the Miami Heat prior to the deadline. While Jackson wouldn't name names, he reiterated that the Grizzlies' offer was decent. Of course, Butler saw his stint with the Heat come to an end earlier this year when he was dealt to the Golden State Warriors. The final trade included 5 teams. By coughing up Butler and some other trade chips, the Heat were able to acquire forward Andrew Wiggins, forward Kyle Anderson, guard Davion Mitchell and a protected first-round pick. Butler's tenure in Miami spanned more than 5 full seasons, and he was one of the more talented players at his position in the NBA in that span. He earned 2 All-Star nods with Miami and also led the league in steals per game in the 2020-21 season. More importantly, Butler was quite the playoff riser as a member of the Heat and was a catalyst behind 2 NBA Finals runs for the team. Miami reached the championship series in the years 2020 and 2023, and Butler averaged 22-plus points per game in each of those memorable playoff runs. Maybe a deal for Butler would have proven to be valuable in the final stretch of the 2024-25 season for Memphis. Without him, the team has taken a dip down the Western Conference standings in recent weeks. The Grizzlies have lost all but 3 of their last 10 contests played and sit as the number 8 seed in the West, though it's worth noting that Memphis is just 2 games back of the number 3 seed Los Angeles Lakers. To their credit, the Grizzlies have won 2 straight. They will try for their 3rd consecutive win when they do battle against the Charlotte Hornets on Tuesday night. The Hornets own the 2nd worst record of any team in the Eastern Conference this season at 19-59. NBA Scout makes case against untouchable status for Heat star. The Miami Heat's roster needs somewhat of an overhaul. As currently constructed, Erik Spoelstra's team is years away from being back in the mix to win championships. Unfortunately for the Heat, they have very few tradable assets. As such, some tough decisions may be on the horizon. Only Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro have proven themselves enough to be considered locks for the next iteration of Miami's roster. However, according to an NBA scout who spoke with Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald, Adebayo's future with the Heat shouldn't be set in stone. Bam is somewhat inconsistent offensively. I wouldn't actively look to move him, but I don't think he should be untouchable, the scout said. There would be a huge market for him. Adebayo is one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA. He's also a high-level initiator on offense. He excels when running dribble handoffs on or around the elbows. Yet, Adebayo's offense often leaves a lot to be desired. However, Adebayo is proving himself to be a 2-level scorer who is a threat both around the rim and in the mid-range. According to the same scout, Herro should be considered untouchable. The 25-year-old guard has continued to show improvement across the board and has proven himself to be the Heat's best player. I would not look to trade Herro, the scout said. He's not the problem. They can't score, and Herro gives you that. He's not a number 1 guy, but they need another 2 guys who can score, at least one. He's not the problem. Herro has been integral to the Heat's approach this season. In 74 outings this season, the former 6th Man of the Year is averaging 23.9 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 5.6 assists. He's shooting 46.9% from the field and 37.3% from deep. If Miami's front office does keep Herro out of trade talks, they must be willing to part with some of their younger talents. Otherwise, the franchise will be negotiating from a position of weakness. When the Heat acquired Terry Rozier in 2024, the hope was that he could become the new lead point guard for Spoelstra's team. Unfortunately, Rozier has struggled to acclimate to the Heat's style of play. Therefore, he is now watching most games from the bench, as Spoelstra prefers to allow Harrow to run the point. "I think it's just my style of play hasn't been the best fit for what we want to do," Rozier said. "So I'm just seeing what works and what coach likes and what fits best for the team. I've kind of been fighting. I kind of know what coach wants me to do. Just got to do it." Rozier is a likely trade candidate for the summer. And while Harrow isn't a long-term solution as the lead ball handler, he can hold things down for the time being. Rozier is better served on a team that relies heavily on high pick-and-roll. Moreover, he is at his best when tasked with a heavy usage role. Miami doesn't play that style of basketball. The Heat have some tough decisions to make this summer. It will be interesting to see how they manage to reconstruct a failing roster. Perhaps now is the perfect time to lean into a full rebuild, with Harrow leading the way. Miami Heat select 5-star recruit in latest ESPN mock draft. The NCAA season concluded Monday night after the Florida Gators won the national championship. ESPN released its latest mock draft following the conclusion of the season. The Miami Heat are projected to have 2 first-round picks. With their projected first-round selection, the Heat are predicted to draft Maryland Terrapins big man Derik Quen at number 11. Quen was a 5-star recruit out of high school. Quen exceeded expectations at Maryland, not only turning in a fine individual season but also leading the Terrapins to a 27-9 record and the Sweet 16, the article wrote. He established himself as the most offensively gifted big in this draft class, giving NBA teams a lot to think about with his ability to handle, pass, and create mismatches, along with his flashes of shooting potential. His motor on the defensive end and on the glass were often questionable, something Quen will have to answer for in the pre-draft process as teams get to know him. The Heat's big man rotation is crowded. After Kel'el Ware's rookie campaign, he could be a hot trade asset if the Heat decide to make a blockbuster move this summer. That would allow Quen to fill in at center. With their other selection acquired from the Golden State Warriors through the Jimmy Butler trade, the Heat are predicted to draft Ben Saraf at number 23. The 18-year-old guard plays for Reichsfarm Ulm Bundesliga basketball in Germany. Saraf went through a rough patch in February and early March, but he is coming off 2 of his best games of the season for Ulm, rediscovering his jumper and rekindling the playmaking creativity that made him a highly regarded prospect earlier in the season, the article added. With Ulm in the home stretch of its regular season, and important games approaching in the German League playoffs, NBA teams will be shifting more attention his way. Saraf's ability as a shot creator could be an enticing addition for the Heat. Terry Rozier's inconsistent play this season may force the Heat to add a guard this offseason. Miami is well known for its extravagant nightlife. The Miami Heat's management is also well aware and have supervised players' nightlife habits. Former Heat guard Tyler Johnson confirmed this during a recent podcast appearance. "They say that Heat culture is not for everybody," Johnson said. "Playing for a guy like Erik Spoelstra is easy if you're a basketball junkie. So if you're a guy wants to come in and get better, it's really not that hard. You're gonna be in the gym and you're gonna be getting coached up by guys who had just went to the finals 4 years in a row. You're in Miami, so your distractions are there. If they're there, they're around. They walk by every day. So the problem is you can get lost in that, and if you do, like they're on it." Johnson even boldly claimed the supervision from the Heat includes private investigators. "They know exactly what you're doing," Johnson later added. "They got the PIS on you for sure." Johnson played for the Heat from 2015 to 2019. He went undrafted in the 2014 NBA draft before joining the Heat's then D-League team, the Sioux Falls Skyforce. In January 2015, he signed a 10-day contract. And you fan? What do you think about Derik Quen's situation? write to us in the comments.